Hello, my name's Andrew, and I'm from East London, and I'm actually quite unique in that I'm gay. I also have dyslexia and dyspraxia, and I'm a newly qualified dyslexia specialist in higher and further education.
I'm gay, and I'm very proud to be gay, and because, you know, it gives a color, and it gives, aside from my identity where I came from, there's a good thickness of what do you call that? Creativity into the whole thing, and that it adds to the life.
I'm very glad that I have a strong sense of my identity and community, and sometimes talking to younger people who merely see it as a sexual preference don't have that sense of fight for our community and that sense of commitment to the community. And in a discussion the other day, actually, a younger woman, when we were talking about the dynamics in relationships, a young woman, lesbian woman, sitting there with her partner said, well, actually, I think most lesbian relationships are unhealthy. And I mean, I think my jaw probably fell to the floor. I was really shocked.
You know, I turned 25, and you look back and you do realise, you know, your own personal little bit that you've come. And hearing everybody else's stories kind of made me realise how much I've even come, you know, and hearing the bits and pieces from the 70s and the 60s, HIV, you know, those things are very lost now. And, you know, people, and you know, people my age and younger, we do take that for granted. We do, and we don't realise the hard work that had come before.
A bit different from when I first came out, which was still, I can never remember which way around it is, Clause 28 or Section 29. I did my bit for the age of consent and that by sitting down in the middle of Trafalgar, well, not in the middle of Trafalgar Square, but on the approaches to it and being ushered away by policemen. And you don't really get that kind of thing these days. So I think it's a personal view of mine. I think that you hear so many older people going, oh, they don't realise what we did for them in our day. And I think there is a perception that the battle for equality is won and it's done and dusted, and I'm not quite so convinced about that.
The whole question does make me think a little bit about the sort of weight of responsibility I think younger generations have, or are thought to have by older ones who've been through some major equality struggles, say like LGBT ones, disability ones, race ones, gender ones, all of them, that you've then got a responsibility to carry that on and carry on the fight. And I get the theory, I do, but I find it really difficult to actually deliver it. And if I'm really honest, I find it quite irritating as well, because I suppose in principle, if you've had the fight, I thought the fruit of that was that I wouldn't have to.
I think fighting and making a stand makes you value the things that you have, like the lesbian teas and the gays the words and things like that. And so I think, yes, having to fight for some of those things. And seeing the steps that it allows other people to take, like the 3 same-sex dance schools now going. You know, it makes me feel proud that we've had an influence on that during our lifetime.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd like to be an activist. I'd like to discuss these issues more. I don't want to discuss just the gay issue. I just want to discuss people's, like, just being open-minded and tolerant and kind of like fighting for people to be able to voice their opinions and have an identity and have a say. And I'd like to, like, you know, and it all starts with the kids, you know. It starts with the young people in schools, and A lot of the adults, if you're in the workplace and you're hearing people that are being homophobic, it's because they were like that at school because no one taught them that that was a bad thing.
But if you're having a dreadful time, hang on. I'll get emotional now, but hang on, because you will get out of there, and there's a world, and you can find your place in the world. You can. Even if you have to dump people, dump places, and dump things, you will find your place. So long as you look, it's a big world. And I've found mine, and I've lost it, and I found it, and I've lost it. But I have never experienced what I experienced at school. I'd love to go back and sue them for cruelty. Shouldn't have happened. Shouldn't have happened to me to be sent there.
Fascinating, because I'm 50. I'll be 54 this year, and it's been really interesting to me to listen to young people like you because it's just as difficult as ever growing up gay in a straight world because we're brought up to be straight no matter what, you know. We don't have any mileposts, any guidelines. We have to figure it out on our own, you know.
A secondary school has trialled teaching about famous gay people in history and what their contribution to society has been, and they've found that that has reduced the incidence of gay bullying within the school because it's what everyone's always known. If you teach it and it becomes part of normal curriculum, then it's not a taboo subject and people will understand it, and that will lead to the less bullying and because people have an understanding of lesbian and gay people.
For me, it almost seems like my history almost starts when I arrived to London. Back at home, I'm actually from. It's quite a big city in Poland, and we have got at the moment we have got one gay bar somewhere in a dark street, and you have to press the bell, and they see you on CCTV, and then they decide whether to let you in or not.
The UK is a really, really good country related to gay rights. I think gay rights here are really, really respected, and most people are aware that nobody has to discriminate someone because of their sexual orientation. Unfortunately, in Mexico, that doesn't happen. Many people discriminate against LGBT people in any sense, socially, professionally, and personally. Even families are ashamed of having a LGBT member within their family.
But I often feel that is the case, that as long as you're not too challenging, then you're fine. And I think that goes for any culture, any place that you go to, but it is remarkably strange that that should be the case for Denmark when it was so sort of progressive back in the 60s and 70s. And I think though London and Britain has obviously had its huge complications, through the 70s and 80s in gay liberation and what have you, I actually think at this point it is progressing faster than most other places, partly because there's a huge amount to catch up with.
I'm from Bangladesh. Now living in East London is a very nice place. It's a very multicultural people live here, so I can share my diverted from my community to different community. I learn loads of things. So many multicultures, so many different people live there, and different excitement, different attitude.
I wouldn't probably have met Brian or even live with the man at all if I was at home. So it is a very, very different situation, and you get threats and all that. So it's just different life. Here I can be who I really am. So I'm really, really happy here.
Quality is very important, yeah. So I think although we're much better than we used to be, clearly, again, in the past 10 years or so,
we're still not equal, so we don't have equal marriage rights, for example. We have a civil partnership, which is not as good as marriage. And particularly for transgender or transsexual people, the regulations are not there yet. And then also there's a whole group of bisexual people that sort of fall outside of any of the legislation and to some degree, I think, face a different type of discrimination, more of a cultural rather than legal discrimination.
But I got a job at Islington Council, which was, you know, it was in the Sun newspaper described it as the puffer's paradise because of their equal opportunities policies, and there's the mayor was gay and his partner was the mayor's consort or whatever, just completely different.
Utterly petrified that anybody found out that I had a girlfriend. Lived in fear, told lies, had imaginary boyfriends, made phone calls from the telephone box at the end of the road rather than the one that was in the residential block where I lived, all that sort of stuff. Because in the first week at Hendon, one of the sergeants addressed all the new recruits and told them they had to be up at 6:30 and have shiny shoes and call everybody sir, and then he looked around the room and he said, and if there are any homosexuals here, they should leave now because there's no place in the police service for homosexuals. 1982, I mean, you know, a long way ago.
ELOP's an organisation that I always wished I could have came across as a young gay woman coming out all those years ago back in Northern Ireland and didn't have access to. So, you know, coming here as an adult and as an out woman and actually being able to support other people, to support other young people coming out, but also just to support other gay people in their life in general is really empowering for me, as well as and I hope that I pass that on to them.
Found out that, well, that's not what being gay is about, that's what abuse is. And I don't want that to happen to anybody else, and that's why I've always believed in signposting and helping other people find the right people to connect with so they can come out in better ways. I think, you know, as a young person back then, I had a lot of questions, and if I'd had a good education through schooling and so on like that, in terms of sex education and advice, information available, then I could have gone a different route.
I came out of school and just told everyone that's just me, I'm impulsive, so I just told the whole world and I didn't really care. And I told my parents, I think I got sent home school one day because I'd been drinking and they found me drinking, and I said, oh, I'm gay, and that was a big hoo-ha. But eventually I went to a teenage gay group in Holloway Road that my parents actually took me to, my dad did, and he used to pick and drop me off, and that was really good.
I had a wonderful grandmother who had worked for Norman Hartnell and worked on the Queen's coronation dress and all sorts of things, and she knew gay men, and she had probably already guessed anyway, but she hadn't told me. And she was wonderfully supportive, and she made life an awful lot easier. So I was out at 15, and the following year when I was 16, my dear mother signed the papers for my age of consent case, which was the first challenge to age of consent for gay men in the European Court of Human Rights. So I've kind of been out and political as a gay man since I was 15, really.
No, I knew from about 8 or 9 that which side of the bread was buttered, as it were. And I didn't have any trouble about being gay. I didn't get any trouble at school. When I went to grammar school, my PE teacher was a very fit, I found out subsequently, only a few years older than me, very attractive bloke who used to take the piss out of me occasionally.
I suppose my early experience of being gay was, you know, being brought up in a small town where my only role model was Larry Grayson, I seem to remember. I thought I would end up being Larry Grayson. I thought that was the only thing you could be. And yeah, I found it very difficult having this kind of dreadful secret
I remember as a child even sort of praying that I'd have some accident so that I'd be in a wheelchair, so you'd never need to know that I was gay.
But growing up in a family of faith, and of course in the Christian community, it also posed its own challenge, because all I heard or all I knew about as a young person is that the Bible condemns same-sex relationship. But today, I have also become a voice that is so liberal and brings understanding to these issues. And of course, there will be people who are listening to this video for the first time, or hearing the fact that, you know, here is an African, a gay man, and also a Christian of Nigerian parentage who is now very proud to be gay and also celebrating his Christian faith.